Today, we're looking at a massive pivot from one of the absolute biggest players in the tech world. OpenAI just dropped a stunning announcement. They're literally walking away from their heavily hyped AI web browser Atlas. But the death of this product is actually the birthplace of a completely new computing paradigm. So let's unpack exactly what happened, the massive challenges they faced, and most importantly, why this is happening and what it means for how you interact with your computer moving forward.
Now, the most shocking part of this whole story really comes down to a single number: 9. Yep, 9 months. In the world of major tech releases, especially from a giant like OpenAI, 9 months is basically the blink of an eye, right? Usually, a company is going to spend years tweaking, updating, and desperately trying to find an audience before finally pulling the plug. But OpenAI? They're acting with ruthless efficiency here, just closing the book on a flagship product before it even hits its first birthday. So, why build an entire web browser just to kill it off so incredibly fast?
Which brings us to Section 1, the end of Atlas.
So the core news here is absolute. OpenAI is officially sunsetting its dedicated AI-integrated web browser. And to be clear, this isn't some rebrand or a temporary pause, it is a complete shutdown of the standalone browser experiment. Just to ground us in the facts, let's look at this rapid-fire timeline. Just 9 months ago, Atlas launched, making huge headlines as this revolutionary way to surf the web. Fast forward a bit to July 10, 2026, OpenAI rolls out a routine update and boom, right at the end, they drop the bomb that Atlas is being sunsetted. And they are not dragging this out. By August 9, 2026, the browser is gone entirely. It's a wildly fast, aggressive execution of a major product line.
So we have to ask, Section 2, why the sudden shutdown?
Seriously, what were the unique challenges that forced a company with virtually unlimited resources to just throw in the towel after only 9 months? Well, to answer that, we've got to look past the surface-level failure and dig into the underlying strategy. The real reason why this happened is actually hidden right here in this statement from OpenAI's James Sun. He said, "All these capabilities were built on what we learned from Atlas users who took a leap of faith on a new browser." Now read between the lines there. Atlas wasn't necessarily a failure in OpenAI's eyes. It was essentially a covert data-gathering mission, a live testing ground. They needed you, the users, to take that leap of faith so they could study actual human behavior, see the real-world challenges, and pinpoint the exact friction points when people try to use AI on the open web.
And that leads directly into Section 3, the standalone browser challenge.
And wow, did they ever find some friction points. The core challenge wasn't that the AI itself was bad. Actually, the big hurdle was human habit, asking us to just abandon our favorite browsers, whether that's Chrome, Safari, or whatever, and migrate our entire digital life over to a totally new, separate destination just for AI features. That was an incredibly tall order. It created this walled garden that isolated the AI from the rest of your natural workflow. And as Mashable reported, this friction had massive real-world consequences, literally pushing ChatGPT's AI market share to a historic new low. The reality is, people absolutely want AI, but they do not want to jump through hoops to get it. Having to remember to open a very specific app every single time you wanted help was just too big of a barrier. Standalone destination apps for AI are just not the future if they constantly disrupt our natural computing flow.
Which brings us to their solution. Section 4. Enter ChatGPT Work. Recognizing this massive standalone challenge, OpenAI pivoted hard. Announced right alongside the new ChatGPT 5.6 update, they introduced a brand new desktop application, ChatGPT Work. This is the direct result of everything they learned from the whole Atlas experiment, and this brilliantly illustrates the paradigm shift we're witnessing right now. Just look at the difference. The old model, Atlas, demanded you come to it. It required opening a new, separate browser. But the new model, ChatGPT Work, flips the delivery mechanism entirely. It operates seamlessly in the background as an agent. It doesn't ask you to change your habits. It just lives where you already are. It brings the AI directly to your computer rather than making you take your computer over to the AI. That completely neutralizes the friction of a standalone app.
So what does this actually look like for you in practice? Well, Mashable basically describes ChatGPT Work as Atlas Plus. It is heavily focused on AI agents. You can just hand it local tasks involving your own documents and files right on your desktop. It handles online tasks using its own built-in web browser capabilities behind the scenes, doing the heavy lifting of the internet without you ever having to open a browser window yourself. And the absolute most vital part? It processes everything entirely in the background. Your AI assistant just gets to work on what you need, leaving you completely free to keep doing whatever else you were focused on. It effectively renders the whole idea of a standalone AI browser completely obsolete.
Which leaves us with a final, incredibly provocative thought to wrap up this explainer. If AI agents can now execute tasks, browse the web, and manage files seamlessly in the background of our computers, what other standalone apps are about to become completely unnecessary? I mean, we just saw an entire web browser killed off in 9 months just because a background agent could do its job better and with way less friction. Take a look at your own computer dock right now. How many of those apps are destinations that an AI agent could soon replace? It is a fascinating shift in how we work and a pretty stark reminder of exactly why this technology is evolving so fast. Thanks so much for joining.